This is the first single off my latest CD entitled appropriately Rise. Today your face, it slips away, but in a dream I'll find everything worth wondering, truth to fuel this life. And now it's time to say goodbye and to leave our skins behind. Let the dust drain the sun and rise, and rise. Falling feet, this vacant street, choose a path to run. And tenderness and all this sweet lover's kiss, simply said and sung. And now it's time to say goodbye and to leave our skins behind. Let the dust drain the sun and rise, 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 rise. 'Cause we'll fill all the voids that we long to if we ever come back down. Won't you ever come back down? Hi, I'm Tom Goss. I play percussion-driven acoustic pop rock, if that makes any sense. My influences are Dave Matthews, David Gray, Ben Folds, Ben Harper, Jack Johnson, stuff like that.
And what would you say would be your best stage or tour moment?
I mean, honestly, last week I had a great time. January 8th, I released my latest CD entitled Rise, and had just a bash at Iota with a bunch of friends. And you know, for a musician, it's most of the work is really hard. It's a lot of rejection. It's a lot of not having too much fun. And every now and again, a show comes together where everybody shows, everybody has a great time, everybody is courteous to one another. The music is great and the vibe is great, and last Tuesday was a great example of that. And that for me is what makes music worthwhile.
Now, on the other side of that, what would be your worst or most embarrassing stage or tour moment?
It's funny because I was thinking about this today, and I don't tend to get too embarrassed. So I don't know if I have an embarrassing one. I mean, I played a lot of shitty shows. I think most musicians have gone to the show and had that one person sitting there in the shithole, and there's one person listening, and most likely it's your best friend. And those are horrible shows to play, I tell you, especially when they're like 2 hours long. But the one that was sticking out in my mind was probably 3 months ago, and there was this guy coming to do an interview. We were going to do an interview. And we had this whole entire conversation about if the venues that were playing it were handicap accessible, because he was in a wheelchair. And we had already proposed the interview once because the place that was playing it wasn't handicap accessible. So when I showed up to the show, he's in there and he's talking to this guy. This guy's talking to him very loudly and very intrusively. And of course I think, like, he must know this guy, right? So after a couple minutes, I'm looking, and he looks very uncomfortable. I'm like, wow, shit, like, I don't think he knows this guy. So I go over there, and I'm like, hey, do you know this guy? And he's like, no, I don't know who he is. He's just bugging me. So there was this guy, totally fucking drunk, just harassing him because he was in a wheelchair. So he keeps saying, like, stand up and walk. Come on, stand up and walk. You can do it. I have these same problems. And so it's 2 minutes before my show, and I literally, this guy turns around, grabs the guy's knees in the wheelchair, and just start shaking them. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I drop my guitar and I run over there, and I'm just like, dude, you better stop right now. And so it's like, now it's like 90 seconds before my show, and I'm stepping up to this guy to fight. I don't even know him. I just arrived. And so I start screaming, and this guy's sitting there because he's drunk and he doesn't know what the fuck's going on. And until the bartenders come running over, like, what's going on? And I'm like, this drunk guy is trying to make this guy in the wheelchair stand up, like he's going to cure him, like an evangelist or something like that. And so the guy promised to sit down, and I start my first song, and he starts talking to the guy in the wheelchair again. And of course I stopped in the middle of my song and started screaming at him through the microphone. So, I don't know if it was so embarrassing, but it was sure as hell funny, and it was sure as hell awkward. But the guy eventually shut up, probably because I had a microphone so I could scream louder. But that was quite an experience. So, that interview was, you can't really have like so good of an interview after that. It was mostly just like awkward pauses, and I can't believe we just had this traumatic experience, and the show hadn't even started yet. So that would be my most embarrassing and or awkward moment on stage.
How do you get your music out to potential fans, or how do you market yourself?
Relentlessly. The hardest part about being a musician is the marketing. There's no doubt about that. I know that there are hundreds of people in Washington D.C. that can play the hell out of the guitar, or they can play the hell out of the instrument, and can write at an extremely high level. And so what I have to say is, why would anybody listen to me as opposed to John Doe that's living 3 doors down from me? And the answer to that is because they know I exist. And how do you do that? You got to get yourself out there. And so as far as I'm concerned, as far as marketing, of course, online are great resources. Websites like Bandbo and websites like MySpace and Facebook. And just having a mailing list and making sure that you really keep on that. You get people to sign your mailing list, and that you communicate with people via that mailing list. And most importantly, you play out all the time. And you keep playing, and you keep playing, and you keep playing, until, frankly, you're good enough to be playing out. And then once you do that, people will start listening. And I wish that meant then you stopped, but then you just work harder. So hours and hours each day, contacting print sources, video sources, people, fans, connecting with fans on a personal level. That's how I personally market my music. That's how I've had the most success.
Now, word on the street is someone else in this room has a musical talent as well. Do you want us?
Yeah, oh yeah, fuck. Yeah, Wendell. Yeah. I forgot I don't know. I think this is a trick question. So anyways, this is Wendell. And Wendell may not look like much, but let me tell you, Wendell has got skills. We're going to let him go at it. Wait, can we get him in some better light?
Get in and zoom in.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is what we call a true urban kitchen, in the sense where here's all the cupboard space, the fridge. So if you open the fridge before you move, you're screwed. You have to go over here to the oven and then open the fridge. And you can't be standing in front of the oven to open the oven. You have to stand to the side of the oven to get anything in the oven. There you go. And over here is the sink.
Oh, there's the sink.
Appropriately is not clean.
Nice.
So, then he's gonna stop, and he just keeps going. Yeah, it's a shithole. Don't run into the mic, I don't. But I love it, so that's great. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
To see this episode and others, artist interviews, go to bandbotv.com.